All right, let's get right into it. We've all heard of The Secret, right? The law of attraction. But what if I told you that this huge modern phenomenon is really just the tip of a very, very old iceberg? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see how this pop culture sensation actually has its roots deep in ancient philosophy.
Just think about it for a second. What comes to mind? More money? The perfect relationship? That dream job? This is the promise, the big hook that got millions of people excited. The idea that you can literally think your way to a perfect life. It's personal, it's powerful, and it's the engine that drove a media sensation.
So back in 2006, this book and video by Rhonda Byrne, The Secret, it just exploded onto the scene. And it wasn't just another self-help guide. It became a full-blown cultural movement. It promised that the key to unlocking all the happiness and wealth you could ever want was basically hidden in plain sight.
And boy, did the world listen. The book sold in absolutely staggering numbers. We're talking 3.75 million copies in print. It felt like it was everywhere, on coffee tables and bookstores, on nightstands all over the world.
And it didn't stop with the book. Nope. The DVD version sold another 1.5 million copies. This thing was a multimedia juggernaut. It wasn't some niche idea anymore. It was a total mainstream obsession.
The media frenzy was just wild. I mean, it got the coveted Oprah seal of approval, which is huge. It was talked about on Larry King. It was featured in huge magazines like Time and Newsweek. The Secret was officially part of the global conversation.
So what was all the excitement about? Well, at its core is this thing called the law of attraction. The idea is seductively simple. What you think about, you bring about. Your mind is like a broadcasting tower, sending out these frequencies, and the universe just reflects that energy right back at you. You think rich, you get rich. It's a really empowering idea for sure.
Which brings us to the big question, right? Was this a totally new discovery? Was it just some brilliant marketing for the 21st century? Or was Rhonda Byrne just repackaging something much, much older?
Well, it turns out the answer was hiding right there in the very first moments of The Secret itself. The philosophy behind all this, it's not new at all. Its origins go back thousands of years to the wisdom traditions of places like ancient Egypt.
If you ever watch the opening of the video, you'll see this quick flash of a mysterious green tablet, and it's covered in these really strange symbols. That right there, that is the Emerald Tablet, and it is our first major clue. They barely mention it, but it's the absolute cornerstone of the entire philosophy.
The tablet is said to come from this legendary figure, Hermes Trismegistus. Now, he's this fascinating blend of the Egyptian god of wisdom, Thoth, and the Greek messenger god, Hermes. They called him thrice great because he was considered the ultimate master of alchemy, astrology, and theurgy. So, yeah, we're not in the self-help aisle anymore. This is deep, esoteric philosophy.
And the journey this idea took is just fascinating. It starts way back in ancient Egypt, then gets this huge revival during the Renaissance. Then, in the 19th century, the New Thought movement in America kind of repackages it. And then, this is key, in 1908, a little book called The Kybalion comes out and lays it all out systematically. Fast forward almost a century, and The Secret takes one piece of that massive system and broadcasts it to the entire world.
Okay, so that 1908 book, The Kybalion, it is the key to all of this. It was written by this anonymous group called the Three Initiates, and what it does is it distills this ancient, kind of sprawling philosophy into 7 core principles. You can almost think of it as the operating system for reality that The Secret was built on.
So these are the 7 Hermetic Principles. They're designed to be this totally interconnected system for understanding everything, from the whole cosmos right down to your own mind. Let's do a quick breakdown of what they are. First up is mentalism. And this one is a mind bender. It basically says that everything you see, touch, and experience is all happening inside a universal, infinite mind. Reality itself is a form of thought. And what that means is that our own minds are like little pieces of that universal mind, with the same creative power.
Next is correspondence. And you've probably heard the famous summary, as above, so below. This just means that the patterns of the universe repeat on every single level. The same laws that govern galaxies also govern our health, our relationships, and our thoughts. Your outer world is just a mirror of your inner world.
Then we have vibration. Now, this is the engine behind the law of attraction. The idea is that everything is just energy and motion, from a solid rock to a fleeting thought. And every thought, every emotion has its own unique vibrational frequency.
So high-frequency feelings like joy and love attract similar high-frequency things, while low-frequency feelings like fear, well, they do the opposite.
And the final 4 principles really complete the whole system. You've got polarity, which shows that opposites like love and hate are really just 2 different degrees of the same thing. Then there's rhythm, which teaches that life flows in natural cycles. Cause and effect argues there are no accidents, period. And finally, gender, which suggests all creation needs a balance of 2 energies, an active one and a receptive one.
Okay, so how did we get from that incredibly deep, really complex system to the simplified version we all know from The Secret? Well, this is where we start to see some of the challenges with the modern approach, and there's a really powerful metaphor that explains it perfectly.
Here's the crucial thing to understand. The Secret largely cherry-picks from this bigger system. It focuses almost entirely on mentalism and vibration as tools to get what you want. It's not that it's wrong exactly, but it's kind of like trying to describe an entire orchestra by only talking about the violins. You get a piece of the picture, but you miss the whole symphony.
And this is the problem with this simplified version. Psychologist Jonathan Haidt has this perfect analogy. He says your conscious mind, the part that says, I want to be rich, that's the tiny rider on top of a giant elephant. But the elephant, that's your subconscious mind, with all its deep-seated beliefs, fears, and habits. Now the rider can pull on the reins all day, but if the elephant wants to go somewhere else, guess who wins?
This leads to some really valid critiques. Psychologically, it is incredibly difficult to retrain that elephant. Ethically, it can lead to some really unfortunate victim blaming, implying people are somehow responsible for their own tragedies. Scientifically, it kind of misuses language from physics. With magnets, opposites attract, not likes. And from a theological view, it can seem to put human desire above any kind of divine plan or will.
So, if the original philosophy wasn't just about attracting stuff, what was the whole point? This brings us to the real secret, the one that maybe got a little lost in translation from an ancient text to a modern bestseller.
See, the goal of Hermetic philosophy was never about manifesting a sports car. The ultimate prize was something called the gnosis, which is a direct, intuitive experience of spiritual truth. It was a path to profound self-knowledge and deep self-mastery. Your outer world changing, that was just a byproduct of changing your inner world. And that leaves us with a final thought. The Secret promised that you could change your world just by changing your thoughts. But the ancient wisdom it came from, it suggested that the real prize was knowing yourself. So, which do you think is the real secret worth pursuing?